Darn. Good to see you.
No matter what. Well, yeah, so yeah, there's actually.
Okay.
All right, everyone, thanks for coming out. My name is Tyler Bletcher, Park Manager here at Waconda State Park. I just want to welcome everybody that came out on this much better day than what we had yesterday. Made us all very nervous with the weather that we had. Once again, welcome to Waconda State Park and the new Waconda Visitor and Education Center. First of all, I just would like to recognize just a few people, and I have a couple of my superiors here I want to recognize. Linda Landerman back here in the pink, she's the Parks Director for Wildlife and Parks. Thanks for coming, Linda. Then Steve Seibel is my supervisor out of Hayes. Thanks for coming, Steve. Then we have Representative Susan Concannon here. Thanks for coming. And if some of you noticed, there is a few people walking around with name tags. Those are people very instrumental in helping with this project. The Waconda Cultural Committee, what we called it. Those people were just, bar none, gave their time and effort to this project, and I could not put this together by myself. That's big credit to them. So if you see one of those committee members around with name tags, please thank them because they had a large part to do with this. So. With that, I just wanted to give a brief summary of how this came about. This building was built in 1971 for the dedication of the dam, and then it was used for several years after that as a visitor center, and then kind of in the early 80s, it just kind of sat vacant. It wasn't in use anymore. We had the park office over here, the maintenance building, and then later on we had the regional office over here just off of 180th Road. So when I became manager, I kind of had this idea. We had all this historical information here at the park, just kind of in various places. One of them being the Waconda Springs mural that's in there on the east wall. That was in the church basement for many years. And then the Native American that was donated in the early 2000s by Ray and Doris Brown. That has been in the regional office for many years. And then all these other things that we kind of had scattered around as far as pictures, newspaper articles, and just cool pieces of history that we had here. And I really wanted to see something put together rather than in various places. It didn't make sense to me. So I'd started talking to Lucille Heller about it. What could we do with this? I said, I have this building. I'd like to put something together. And we started going to the strategic doing process with the Dane Hansen Foundation, and we gained this group of people, mainly these committee members that are here today that helped. These people that were just phenomenal. Like I said, they gave their time and effort to this project, and this started back in September, October, somewhere in there when we started doing this. So this, I didn't even count the months, 9 months or so that we've been doing this. Countless meetings, countless emails, phone calls, setting things up. This building has just come together because of these people, and it just started because of an idea. Those wonderful interpretive panels that we have in there on those south windows, those came from brush art. We spent a lot of time on that. I'm very proud of how those turned out, and once again, that's because of those committee members. That is not historical knowledge that I have in my mind by any means. That is these people that have much better understanding and knowledge of this topic. But so yeah, here we are today. We kind of had the plans to do have it open by Memorial Weekend, and that just wasn't the case for whatever reason. Timing wasn't on our side, but it did come together, and very proud of how it did. So what else am I missing? I know I missed something else. Yes, thank you. So part of this building, when we got going through strategic doing, this committee, we put together a Solomon Valley Community Foundation grant application for some various items in the visitor center here. One of them being the panels from brush art, a few other things like UV film on the outside, or excuse me, inside of those windows to protect from UV coming in and deteriorating stuff over time. We'll have an iPad interactive station in there. If you go in there in the southeast corner, there's a black metal stand there that we made. The one slightly disappointing thing was that we didn't get this nice walnut wooden iPad case. It's magnetic. It'll set on that stand. For those of you that are interested in more or want to see more pictures, it's going to be on that iPad. It's not going to be here till Monday. So that's, I don't know. Everything else turned out great, so I can't complain. But several things like that. So big thanks to Solomon Valley Community Foundation. That without that, those panels and everything else that we did, this building is not the same without that money that we received. So I want to give big thanks to them.
Hours. I mentioned the hours. So like rest of the summer.
Yes, hours. So this is a new venture for me and for us. My plan is for our busy season, so May to September, we'll have it open 7 days a week, 8 to 4 o'clock. During the fall and winter, so those other months, it's probably going to be by appointment only. That's going to be due to staff. I'll lose a large part of my staff here once school gets back in session, all my college kids. And we hope to have school programs, field trips, hope to be a part of, some other topics like maybe Lucille mentioned about like the Highway 24 Alliance, something like that. But various things like that, we're going to try to get on board and have this be a hub for people and get some brochures in that building too for the other various things that we have in our area, like the Ball of Twine or whatever else it may be. So we hope this will be a hub for people to come in, something for them to enjoy, and then display our history. I think we have something very special here. You bet. So I'm really happy how it turned out, but really, it's these committee members that are around here today. Give them a big thanks because they're the ones volunteering for this stuff. So, with that, I will turn it over to Lucille. I think I've touched everything I want to, so I appreciate it.
About a year and a half ago, I became a part-time director for tourism for Mitchell County. So since I started that job, we were looking around the county to see what we could do to bring more people to the county, but also to provide more activities for our own people. And as we looked around Mitchell County, we said, well, what do we already have? Well, we have this wonderful lake. We're actually the third largest lake in the state. So we should be, capitalizing on the fact that we have a lake, and so many counties in the city, I mean, we don't think about it, but so many counties in the state don't have a river valley and don't have a lake like we have. And I have to stop for just a minute and compliment Tyler and his staff. I know he was complimenting our cultural committee, but as we worked on this project, little things came up that we hadn't anticipated. For example, 3 of the windows had moisture in between them, so 3 windows had to be replaced at the last minute. And as we hit these different obstacles, even like the ADA ramp in the back, Tyler said, I think we can handle it. I think we can handle it. So it's wonderful to work with someone like Tyler who sees the opportunity that we can capitalize on. And I thought there was something else I was going to mention off of his talk. We really do want to compliment the lake staff for looking into the future at what we can do besides the Waconda Springs project, but also other recreational activities that we can have. He mentioned the strategic doing process that we went through with the Dane Hansen Foundation here in Mitchell County. All of the counties that belong to Dane Hansen area in northwest Kansas have this opportunity to train, and from that training was where we were told we should be looking at a bigger idea than just one project. So it was exciting, like Tyler said, when we had our first meeting we went from 3 people interested in this project into 13 people. So our cultural committee grew immediately that night. And after we got to talking then, because of the strategic doing process, we also said, well, what can we do that's bigger and better for this project than just one thing? So on behalf of the Cultural Committee, I want to share what our different phases are that we're thinking about for the future, for not just here, but all throughout the northern side of the park. In phase 1, we were trying to get this building open with enough materials that it would be entertaining and it would be a nice place for people to stop, and that we could actually advertise it nationally or internationally. People are already stopping at the Ball of Twine. We really want them to come over here and visit also. So we have at least 2 things on Highway 24. So phase 2 of the project is looking over, not all of you probably have, because I hadn't before I started working on this a couple years ago. The replica of the Waconda Springs is over on the west side of Hopewell Church, and it's built on top of a bluff, and it has the actual fence that used to be around the real Waconda Springs around it. And so you can hike up the sidewalk and look out across the lake and view the lake. But right now, the pool over the years, the concrete has cracked, and so we can't put water in the pool anymore. So it's kind of disappointing when you walk up there and the pool's not a pool. So we're going to be working on phase 2, is to repair the pool, but also to create all-weather kiosks as you walk up to the pool so that you can learn more about the Waconda Springs and about the lake outside of this building also. At the top, we also want to put viewfinders with locations around the lake that we can locate by being up on that bluff to be able to see things. So that's all part of phase 2. Phase 3, with this building and the pool repaired, then we also hope to host festivities and activities out here. I know we already have 3 Native American programs that want to come and be in our park, because we now have facilities to house them and to entertain people with. In phase 4, we're again looking at this space. If you're here and you notice and you walk around the patio, we have all this wonderful seating space, and we could also create outdoor kiosks as you walk around the building to educate more. Hopefully that would be focused more on the dam and the way that the Solomon River Valley before and then with the dam are things that we could talk about there. So we're looking at all 4 of those phases, and the 5th phase would be open-ended. We think there are opportunities for other things here, and we would like your ideas. So later I'll introduce the Waconda Cultural Committee. We want you to come, we'll be recruiting members if they like, but also we want your ideas for phase 5 of what we want to do out here at the lake, including things that don't actually have to do with the springs. I think we're able to work with bike paths and things like that to help Tyler and the staff with other things on this side of the lake. So at this time, I would like to introduce the Cultural Committee. And I'd like you to wave if you're on the committee, okay? Our Cultural Committee is Sheila Paxson, back there, Linda Clover, over here, sorry, you're into the program, Kent Miller, Randy Dubert, John Cachette, Lori May, Jay Rao, Sharon Selfield, Kyle Peterson, Darcel McPeak, Amanda Peterson, and Tyler Blesher, of course, and myself. The Cultural Committee has a few thank yous that we'd like to say real quickly. To form the after we developed our committee and we had this long range of a project, we realized we better have our own organization, a 501c3, to apply for grants and to take care of the funding that would help the lake with some of these projects. So I'd just like to say thank you to Fraser, Johnson, and Martin for some of the legal work, the Regional Planning Office for meeting space, Solomon Valley Economic Development, the Beloit Area Chamber, And I think Julia is here today. Julia, would you just give a wave? She's our new chamber director, and I'm already having fun with her. Mitchell County also, in order to start our 501c3, since we basically had no money. Okay, our little committee was working really hard, but we had no funds. So from the Mitchell County Convention and Tourism, we received money, and also our first donor, John Cachette, helped provide the money so that we could open a 501c3. So we appreciate them. And last of all, Kelsey Adams is working over here at one of the print tables, and she has donated her carving of the Native American print that we have from before 1870 in order to be able to stamp postcards. Postcards are selling the postcards and taking donations for the postcards of all kinds are our first fundraiser for the Cultural Association. So she's an in-kind donor to that, as well as Guarantee State Bank has helped with the postcard project. We haven't had fundraisers. You will see our names in the future. So we hope that if you're passionate about things happening on the north side of the lake and the history of our area, that you will consider being one of the donors to the program. We would like to ask that you be sure to sign the guest book today for a couple of reasons. We get to use visitor information to help apply for grants in the future, but also if you fill out the section that gives your address and contact information, we will let you know about future events also. So we'd really like you to sign the book. In July, we'll also be setting up our membership program so that we can recruit members to the Cultural Association. And there is a souvenir bookmarker today that you can take, remembering reopening the building like this. And that's everything about the Waconda Cultural Association. So next, I would like to introduce for our program, Kyle Peterson, Director of the Mitchell County Museum.